So a quick chat on equipment needed for a reef aquarium. So a Red Sea aquarium such as this one, one of the most important things that we'd need for a Red Sea aquarium is lighting. So these are the Red Sea lights, very high quality, and they're run on the Red Sea app. The lights are mounted on the arm, which is purchased separately. Then these reef waves are the circulators, and these reef waves also connect to the Red Sea app. And then you would also want to get a dosing pump. And what a dosing pump does is allow all your corals and things to be fed by the dosing pump, and it gets done automatically, so you don't need to actually do it. And that would also run on the Red Sea app. You would also need the supplements, because as the corals grow, there's no coral in here right now of course, they're going to be using calcium carbonate, magnesium and trace elements out of the water. Now if you find your aquarium is not using these elements, that means there's something wrong, like maybe you don't have enough light, maybe your tank's running too hot. Whatever the problem is, if the corals are not actually growing, that's when you have issues with not needing supplements. And if you do need supplements and all your corals are growing, then supplementing needs to be done regularly. So therefore you need the supplements and you need the dosing pump to actually run the supplements on if you want that to be fairly automated and successful. It's also a good idea to get a roller mat. This is not 100% necessary, but what the roller mat does is slowly filter through clean filter wool, so it keeps your filter wool nice and clean, so therefore reduces the amount of crap that gets left in your water as the roller mat's removing the waste from the water. Another very good thing to get is a UV. A UV sterilizer will actually pass the water via a UV light, and the UV light will kill any parasites that are in the water. And that can be mounted inside or on the back of the aquarium. And a UV light is a very good insurance policy to help reduce the chance of getting disease. Another thing you're gonna need is a chiller. It's really important on a really hot day. You wanna keep the door open on your chiller, because you want to make sure that there's plenty of ventilation. Otherwise, the other thing you can do is arrange vents to go in the front of the door. That's if you are experiencing any problems with temperature. And temperature tends to mainly be a problem when you're on holidays and when your air conditioning's off. If you've got the aircon on, then that's usually less of a problem. You're also going to need a protein skimmer. And if you're not servicing the aquarium regularly, you can actually get a protein skimmer that's got a self-cleaning head on it. So these Red Sea ones are good because it's got a manual self-cleaning head. So one option is you just get one of these ones and you spin this around. It actually works quite good and allows you to clean the skimmer. Otherwise, you can actually get a cleaning head that goes on the top and it does it actually for you. So that's just something to consider. The better the equipment you get in general, that will afford you to do less. You're going to need heaters. So down in that sump area, we're going to need to make sure you get some heaters to keep the temperature at the right temperature. And you can get a thermo controller. And then what that does is make sure that the chiller and the heater are talking to each other, because you don't want to have a case where your heater's on and your chiller's on at the same time. Obviously that's a waste. Otherwise you can set the heater and chiller at slightly different levels, but that will allow more fluctuation in the temperature. Now you're going to need sand on the bottom of the aquarium, and then you're going to need marine pure. So marine pure is a biological media. That's that there, and that allows you to grow your good bacteria, allowing you to support larger numbers of fish. You're going to need a return pump. So this aquarium, all aquariums are going to have a return pump. The return pump basically shoots the water back up into the top of the aquarium again to make sure that the sump is circulating with the aquarium. So getting rock formations or these coral trees are really cool. So the coral trees minimize the contact with the bottom, allow lots of places for the corals to go, and create lots of nice decorations for the fish to swim around. You would also need to allow for utility baskets and a control panel so you can mount it all nicely. See, this is all mounted, so you can slide that out, do what you need to do and slide it back in. So you really want to put thought into the bottom, make the bottom just as neat and just as workable as the top. You're also going to have to allow for salt and RO water to set the tank up. You're also going to have to allow for it to be installed by yourself or someone else. And then the other thing that you really want to do is make sure you have room for a quarantine tank. So the Leddies, you get the Leddy 60 or the Leddy XL, or even the 75 if you can fit it. And what that allows you to do is settle your fish into a quarantine tank before you put the fish into the main aquarium. Because when you move fish, it's better to put the fish into lower salinity, and it's better because that lowers osmotic pressure, reduces the chance of diseases like white spot, and also it allows the fish a good month to settle in, start feeding, and get their immune system back, because sometimes the process of getting caught, collected, moved is quite stressful for the fish. So then what ends up happening is their immune system's low and they get prone to disease quite easily. And then if they do actually get a disease in your aquarium, they can pass the disease on to the other fish, which can be absolutely traumatic and can be very likely avoided with the correct use of a quarantine tank.